Okay, so say that we want to get started with Kafka Streams. We right-click on Kafka Beginners course, create a new module, click on Next, and call it Kafka Streams Filter Tweets. Okay, then we click on Next, and then we'll add the missing hyphens. Here they are. And we click on Finish, and we are ready to get started. Now, what do we need to include into this? We need to include some dependencies, but they will be a little bit different. So let's go onto the internet, type in Maven Kafka Streams, and see how we can get started. Okay, here we go. We'll take the second link. And from that second link, we'll get the 2.0.0 version of Kafka Streams. You recognize this Kafka Streams because the artifact ID is named Kafka Streams. So I'll copy this entire block and I will paste it. So this is the Kafka Streams dependency. And similarly as before, we also need SLF4j. So I will just include SLF4j simple into our pom.xml. Okay, so we have now included Kafka Streams library and SLF4j simple. So we are ready to write our tutorial. So we'll go to main Java, create a new directory. So we'll call it package, and this is com.github.simplesteph.kafka.tutorial4. Now in there, we are going to write a small Java class, and we'll call it streams filter tweets. Okay, and our goal is to filter some tweets. And so for this, I won't explain too much what the code does, but we'll do something very simple. We'll create properties, then we'll create a topology, we'll build the topology, and start our streams application. So let's see how we can do this one by one. So here we go. We create properties, we'll call them properties, and it's a new set of properties. Just like before, we can do properties.setProperty, streamsconfig.bootstrapservers equals, and then we'll say 127.0.0.1.9092. We can also set another property, which is called streamsconfig. So streamsconfig.applicationIDconfig. And this is basically similar to a consumer group, but for streams application. So we'll call this demo Kafka streams. Okay, now we can set two other things. The first one is going to be a default key serde config. So let me go ahead and say that this is string serde dot class dot get name. And similarly, we can have a default value serde, which is also string serde. So this is saying by default, we'll have strings as keys and strings as strings as values, and this is how we will serialize and deserialize them. So this is quite similar to what we had from before. Now we need to create a streams builder. So we'll create a streams builder, and it will be a new streams builder. Now this streams builder takes no parameters. Okay, next we need to define an input topic. So for the input topic, we'll say streams builder. You're going to read, so you're going to stream from, and you need to define a topic. So for example, our topic that we're going to read from is going to be called Twitter_topics. That's the topic we've been reading from. This, as an output, gives you a k stream of string and string. And this is our input topic. So I'll go ahead and say input topic equals this. I'll make sure to get the right import, and we're done. So from this input topic, we can run some operations. We can say kstream of string, and this is going to be a filtered stream, is equal input topic dot, and there's a filter operator. So we'll do dot filter, and here we can pass what's called a function or a predicate. And so this is most likely Java 8 style. So we could say key value will give, and we can start acting on the key, which is a string, or the value, which is a string. And so what we want to do is filter for tweets which have a user of over 10,000 followers, because this is how we assume we'll know that a tweet is popular. So how do we do this? Well, we need to read our value. So I'll open brackets, and here we go. So now we need to have a JSON string. So this is basically our JSON tweet. And we need to read our JSON tweet and filter by this. So let's have a look at how we did it before. If we go to Kafka Consumer Elasticsearch, we actually had included JSON. So let me just include this entire dependency right here as well. And then if you remember, we can go to the code and look at it and see that in there, we've had a function called extract ID from tweets. We can just copy this and probably reuse this function in our code. So there I will say extract user followers in tweets. And so for this, we'll use a JSON parser, which we have created before using this. So I'll go ahead and create the exact same thing. Here's my JSON parser. I'll parse a tweet JSON. And then what I need to get is not ID string. This is user. And you can get that by looking at the JSON we had before. So user, this is get as JSON object. And then we do a get on followers counts. And I believe that's correct. If we go look at this and we go to our, for example, our interactive console and try to look for something we have queried before, we can see that if we type Twitter/tweets/an ID we knew from before, then we can see that by scrolling all the way down, there's a user field. And within the user, there is a followers_count field. And this is what we're interested in. So let's have a look at this. And we say, okay, when the user will get as JSON object, when the followers count will get as integer, okay? And basically all this maybe will be wrong. Maybe there won't be any keys. So we'll have a try in there. And in case we get any exception, so catch an exception called null pointer exception E, then, and I need to close the brackets right here, if we catch a null pointer, we'll just return 0. And here we'll return this. The return value, therefore, is an integer, and we're good. This is a way for us to, number one, make sure that we have followers and that's good data, and number two, to get the user's followers in tweets. So here we say, okay, for the JSON tweets, we want to make sure that the filter is going to be extract user followers in tweets of the JSON tweet to be greater than 10,000. And so here we say, okay, we're going to filter for tweets that have over 100,000 users, the user's followers. Okay, so this looks good. We're just missing a semicolon. Now, finally, that filter stream can be going to a topic, and the topic name is going to be important tweets. Okay? And by the way, here, I just noticed it's not Twitter topics, it's Twitter tweets. Okay, so important tweets. Here we go, we have it correct. Now we need to finally build a Kafka Streams application. So Kafka Streams equals new Kafka Streams. And from there, you can pass a topology. So we'll pass the Streams Builder topology. As you can see, it's still not very happy. It says cannot resolve this. We can do this dot build. And now it says it still can't resolve it. Argument being, the first one is the streams builder.build, and the second argument is the properties we've just created from before. So here's our Kafka Streams application, and now we're going to basically start it. And our Kafka Streams application has been started. So this was a quick and easy way, but as we can see, we get a Twitter tweets, important tweets, we filter this, and we start our Kafka Streams application. So now let's just create this topic before we get started. So I'll go ahead in my console and do Kafka topics, Zookeeper 127.001, 2181, topic this. I'll create it with 3 partitions and a replication factor of 1. So here partition is not recognized because I need an S. And now it works. Important tweets has been created. So I'll go ahead and run my code now. So let's go and run this. And we should be seeing, when the code runs, a lot of log. But basically, our streams processor has started, and we should have tweets being filtered. So let's go ahead and make sure that this has worked. So for this, what I can do is I can launch my Kafka connector or my Kafka producer from before. So Kafka producer Twitter. I will launch it right now. I'll make sure that it has, a lot of good terms, and I'll run this one as well. So now we have 2 applications running. And finally, I'll start a consumer right here. So a Kafka console consumer, and it's going for the topic being called important tweets. And now as this connector starts, we start seeing some tweets happening right here only when they're important. So if I stop right here, I have 88 messages. And if I look for user and then followers count, here we go. We can see that the first followers count right here is 10,000. So we have 10,000 users. So this was definitely more than 10,050, which is more than 10,000. This one has 21,000 followers, and etc., etc., etc. And so here what we can see is that we definitely have the filter working, and we only get tweets that are important. And this is awesome. So this was just a quick demo to show you how things work. Overall, I'm going to stop my Twitter producer, and I can stop my tweet application to filter them. But this was just to show you that with Kafka Streams, we're able to create a very nice topology in which we get input topics, apply whatever transformation we want, and filter that to output topics. Obviously, there's way more capability, and this is just scratching the surface, but I wanted to give you a soft introduction into what Kafka Stream does, how it works, and how we can quickly leverage it for our purpose. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next lecture.